Arman, welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you here and talk about your amazing products in embedded analytics for SaaS. Basically, your entrepreneurial journey. You've been a serial entrepreneur. I think you've made at least 4 B2B SaaS companies that you've got under your belt. And you've got, how do I pronounce the name of the product? Query?
Survey, it's like rhymes with survey. It's survey meaning collecting data.
Got it. Okay. So Survey has positioned itself not only as an embedded analytics solution, but we'll cut that all out. Curve has positioned itself as basically the only embedded analytics solution that's purpose built for SaaS. So I'm really excited to dive into this. What inspired you to create Curve in the first place?
I'm a platform builder, right? It takes some time to realize what you like to do. And it's not like day one when you start a company, you just know everything. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen very often. So you have to really get into the action. You do different things, and then gradually you realize that this is really what I love to do. And there's a difference between building a platform versus building a solution or just application. When you're building an application, you really target a particular use case. And so you go there and say, this is the particular use case that I'm going to do and help this group of people. Versus when you are building a platform, you actually don't know what people are going to build with it. It's like you're giving them pieces of Lego and you expect them to build whatever they like with those pieces of Lego. Your job as a platform builder is to empower them and provide them the maximum amount of flexibility, customizability, configurability, and rich functionality that they need in a way that they can alter it and change it the way they want. And that's what Curve is about. Curve really is about powerful platform, analytic platform that allows multi-tenant, meaning that if you have multiple customers, then you can apply this analytic layer and reach your product application while you're giving some autonomy to each of these tenants and letting them drive so you would not be the bottleneck.
And I imagine this saves a lot of development time because what SaaS product doesn't need some kind of internal analytics. You've actually been in the analytics space for a long time. You also founded Logi Analytics. Can you explain how your vision has evolved as you've gone through different analytics businesses to where it is today?
Sure. When I started my first company, it was age of 18. Of course, I knew nothing. I just started a company with some classmates in university. And by the time I was out of university, we had some employees and it was getting closer to become a real company. And I sold my shares, started a second company with my wife. That was also my classmate. And we worked together in the first company as well. And when we started the second company, it was the time that the Windows came to market, right? So it was one of the very first kind of applications products on Windows. And when we did that, it was again the time that still I was in 20s, mid 20s. And then at that time, I started the second company. I knew that I want only to work on software. That part, I knew that. So I learned that part that I don't want to really be part of the general store. I don't want to assemble computers back then. I didn't want to sell computers. I didn't want to install networks, do those kind of IT work. I wanted to focus on building products, a software product, and that was what I like. So I learned that. I went that far. As you can see, I'm not a fast learner. It takes me some years to learn something as simple as that. So then I spent some time, that company grew nicely. And then I started the third company with my wife when internet came and we became the first web-based reporting dashboarding product, Logi XML, which we renamed it to Logi Analytics on. And this product at that time became closer to become a platform. So at that time, we knew that we are building a tool set, we are building a platform, we are building something that we give to people and say, you build whatever you like. And at that time, then we grow that company and that company grew to over 200 people and got to the point that had a nice annual revenue and it was sold to Marlin Equity in California and later on sold to Insight Software. And then when we started Curve, it was purely a platform. So that's really how you really end up being where you really do best and you want to be in that position. And purely being a platform you just think about it differently. So at Logi, we sold to small businesses as well. We sold to OEM customers. We sold to
Mhm.
large enterprise. We sold to a variety of different type of accounts versus at Curve, based on that understanding and that focus, we just went after a very particular, very narrow, very well-defined market that is really we are 100% OEM. We are good for external use cases, meaning that you are really building something for customers and users outside your company, not for your employees. And then you wanted to embed it, you want it to be self-service, you wanted to deploy it. You don't want to bring your data out to a hosted environment that asks your data privacy security problems. So all of those understandings that we had, and then it changes the way you think about the company, the way you wanted to build the DNA, the people you wanted to bring to the company, the way you wanted to build the machinery for sales and marketing, and the way you wanted to architect your go-to-market strategy, and the way you wanted to create the features and functionalities and even train customers and onboard them. Everything then is built around that. So things can get very harmonious.
Yeah, I love the focus. When you're in one area, you start to really learn things that you can't if you're trying, wildly different products. And I'm curious, how does the sales cycle look like now if you're doing it doing a platform?
Yeah, so the sales, the way it looks like is really something that you expect from any OEM business or any white labeled product that other companies can use under their own brand. And the product needs to be a perfect fit from 200 different angles to what they do, right? So they need to make sure security wise it works the way they want, functionality, customization.
Huge requirements sheet they've got to check off.
So first of all, we need to help them to really understand those requirements because not every single company has been in selecting OEM tool in the past many times. Most of them, it might be the first experience they have. So we need to really educate them on that and say, these are the different things that you can look at, and then asking them, which one of them do you like to put emphasis on it and which ones are the ones that are really must have for you so you can evaluate it within some weeks. We don't have unlimited time to evaluate. We don't want to go to a process of 3 years of evaluation. We have a few weeks. What do you like to look at? And we can help you to do that very quickly within a couple of weeks. Just let us know what are these top 5, top 10 items that you want to really check. And each company has a different priority, right? So they will go through that process and define the success criteria and say, this is really what we want to look at. And that way we know how to help them to really get where they want. And honestly, the last thing we want is to really sell to a company that we are not a good fit for their needs. That's not what we want because that's not their interest, is not in our interest. I would rather to really be in a position that we can help them. They are happy, we are happy, and you're at the right place, they are at the right place. So we will do our best to make sure that there is a good match between their requirements and what we can offer and we can help them with. And then it's pretty easy process afterwards. So the whole sales process normally takes some weeks, normally maximum 2-3 months, honestly, in most cases. But it's not a 2-week process and it's not a 6 months process for us. We normally do it within a couple of months for most cases.
And I'm curious about your overall go-to-market approach. Like, how are you balancing direct sales versus partnerships for reaching these SaaS companies?
For now, we have done only direct sales, meaning that we sell to OEM partners. It's a little bit can get confusing because the way we are selling, we are not selling to a hospital. We are selling to a software company that sells to hospital. So somebody may look at it and say, these are actually your resellers. These are actually your OEM partners. You don't have any direct sales. But the way I define it is whom you are selling to. Is it the person who sends you their money? Is it the person you sold to or a reseller sold to? The person who writes the check and gives us money is not the hospital. We don't see them. We don't know them. So we are selling directly to a company that takes our software included within theirs and distribute it. We are selling directly. Also, the nature of our work is reselling and through the partnership. And sometimes even they might have their own resellers and the resellers may sell their software to another network and it goes layer and layer, B2B to B2B, right?
That makes sense. So it's mostly direct sales, and you've been selling B2B for a long time. How are you getting in front of the right people now? What's your approach?
When you are very specialized, as we are, right? Just imagine if you're selling bicycle and then somebody wants a bicycle and they can go to 2,000 different bicycle vendors and choose one.
There's 5 I could walk to from here, actually, for bicycles.
Exactly. So now imagine you have a very specific needs. The weight has to be extremely low of the bicycle that you wanted to buy. And the bicycle, it's a different bicycle. It's not a bicycle that everyone would buy. And there are so many requirements. Probably you can find only 3 vendors in the world who can really do what you want. And that's really the different marketing style that those 3 companies have versus the other 2,000 companies have. Curve is extremely specialized in what it does. And it does not 200 different things as most of our competitors do. If you look at Tableau, it's like Logi. So it's having 2,000 customers as we had at Logi. And then you look at 2,000 customers and you look at them and say, the jail system is one of the customers and a library is the other customer. And then Homeland Security is the other customer. US Army might be a customer. A large enterprise, a big healthcare company is a customer. All over the place because everyone who has data comes and just use this generally purposed tool set and just do whatever they want to do with the data. Having said that, if you are like very specialized and your specialty is a multi-tenant, self-service, embeddable analytic layer, and then you are selling only to SaaS companies, you are very specialized. In that case, you just need to have the right education for the market. You need to let them know what they should really look at in order to be successful in this journey. Because as I said, not every single of them have had that experience in the past to choose analytic tools again and again. Most likely, most of them, it might be the first time or second one or third one maximum that they are doing this. So it's not a lot of experience. So we are with them in that journey. And our best marketing is to really provide them the right material, the education, and then they will find us because we are so specialized.
And just to restate that, how I understood it, it sounds to me that as you get more and more specialized, if someone needs you, you're going to be one of the top 1 or 2 maximum potential options. You don't have to do as much pushing your message out there because it's just extremely niche.
Really, the art of marketing in that case is how can you articulate well, messaging perspective, how can you crystallize your positioning so there's no ambiguity there? How can you really provide the best material for education of the market so market can understand that how you differentiate what is your specialty? Is if again back to that metaphor, if you are searching for that bicycle, even if your requirement is really low weight bicycle, but you cannot find that specification on the website, you may dismiss that vendor even if they meet your requirements because they never mentioned that. They didn't know how to articulate that. So that would be the art of marketing for that company.
That makes me think of your tagline, which I believe is build less, deliver more. And can you riff on that? What are you trying to let people know about Curve?
Sure. Again, I'm going to use another metaphor. So let's say you are going to really choose a house or a home. So where you want to live with your family, you have 3 options. Do you want to buy a land and build it yourself? And in that case, you can define every single bit of that characteristic, right? So you can define everything you want.
Which shovel to use?
Exactly, everything. And then the other option is, I'm going to really go there and just buy maybe this house, and then I can customize it in any way I want. Or third, I can really go and just maybe rent an apartment. And that apartment, it's just the way it is. And I need to accept it. And I have some very minimum kind of. So if you really wanted to go and just sign up with one of these hosting services in the market, there are some of them out there in the market. You just sign up and use analytics and they host it for you. You're really choosing an apartment. If you wanted to really bring developers and work for years and you have some money to waste, and then after some years you may not get what you want and you have to start over, and that case you may be one of those people who say, I have unlimited time, resources, time, money, everything, and I'm going to build it myself. And then you buy a land and then you go there and just imagine a house. And by the time the house is ended, probably you are imagining another house, and that house is not meeting your criteria. So you will end up for the rest of your life building house after house that doesn't meet your criteria, because practically speaking, there are some things that by the time you do it, you don't want it. So that's really two categories. Curve is that particular fully customizable house that you can get it, go there, live in it, and customize it very quickly. We are not the apartment like many other solutions in the market. We are not the land option. We are not professional services that helps you to build it and it takes 2 years and tons of money. We are the middle one. But that's really what we mean by build less, deliver more, because you go somewhere that you can customize it in many different ways, but still you don't waste time and money that much. You can get there in a matter of a couple of months, not a few years.
Love it. That's such a great concrete metaphor. This has been incredibly insightful, Arman. And before we wrap up, I'm curious, like, what are you most excited about for Curve over the next few years?
Happy customers. So nothing excites me more than happy customers, right? So if somebody tells you, I was talking to an entrepreneur just a couple of days ago, as I do sometimes, it's very fun. And they are kind enough to call me and just ask questions. And I love it. And this inquiry came from LinkedIn, just somebody asking for some questions. And I normally have a couple of hours per week to just give back whatever I have learned. If it is worth it for anyone, happy to help. And I used to have a walk and talk when I was in San Francisco or I was in DC. And right now I'm in Austin and haven't set up that yet. But the walk and talk is everyone can join that walk with us and just ask questions and we brainstorm on that. But in this case, the person asked me, about starting his company. And I asked him, if someone tells you that you're not going to sell this product, that you are dead set to build it, nobody's going to buy it in the next 5 years, are you still going to build it? And he said, no. And I said, how do you know that is not true? Because in most cases that come true. And honestly, if you just go and build it, 90% or higher chance that nobody will buy it because you are building for yourself.
I'm telling people this all the time.
Yeah, because you're building that for yourself. So you need to buy it. If you really want market to buy it, don't build it for yourself, build it for them. And in order to build it for them, you need to first find them. So that's really very simple. And so in that case, my point is, if we are working so hard, if the team is working so hard for years, if the investors are putting their money, if we do all of this effort, there is only a single purpose for that, for customers to use it, enjoy it, and say you helped us. And we couldn't do what we do today without your help. That's the single purpose. Otherwise, we would not have done that. And I think that's the single purpose of the business as we do it. And we would like to see happier customers. And I want to see happier users of their customers as well. So that is our measure of success. How many and how happy our customers are there. And what is the impact, the positive impact that really Curve has been able to create for everyone, for customers, for investors, for employees. And are we positively impacting them? And if that's the case, super happy. And if I ask that question and the answer is not so much, the impact has been not great, then that's waste of time and money. And probably we have not done a good job. Should not let that happen.
That is an excellent answer. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.